Now is the time to look at the different tools available on your client project record. Let's look quickly on the project. At the top right corner, there are a couple of buttons, tools that I just want to show you to give you another perspective of your client project. So the first one is called the Workspace, and the Workspace is the old Gantt chart. I say the old one because client made a lot of progress, put a lot of effort on it. So it's now very flexible, and there's a couple of different views you can have to this one, but I'll keep this for a separate tutorial. But as you can see here, I opened the Workspace and I see my whole project with the numbers that are displayed usually in the standard Salesforce view, and in this case per phases. So I decided that these parent tasks would be my phase. If I expand this phase that is 100% complete, I would see the different tasks that were completed, who was assigned, and how many hours were estimated, and log, and so on and so forth. So this is what you can visually see from your project, and you can also, a bit like we saw in the Kanban, filter to see, for example, only some specific tasks of your project. In this case, I could maybe be interested in looking only at the milestone. So these would be the different milestone where we are today and what we're expecting. So it gives you a lot of possibilities on your project to view your data differently. If I go back on the project and look at the other one, which is called the resource plan, once again, we'll make some different use case a bit later on, but the resource plan is giving you the possibility to look at the data related to your project resources and their availability or what is planned or scheduled for them on your project. So I'm in my project context. I'm really in the Acme 4 project. I see the 5 resources that are assigned to my project. Right now I'm looking at the plan view. So at the project level, how many hours were planned for them. I can also look at the schedule, which would allow me to expand, for example, a resource and look at not only the high level view, but break down these assigned hours at the task level. So what are we expecting Roxanne to work on the week of the September 19th? So you would see that detail. Another very useful tool, if I go back here, is that if I click beside Roxanne, it's gonna, Roxanne was my engagement lead on my project. So by clicking right next to her name, I will see the different engagement lead resources that could be available in my org if I ever want to replace that resource. We'll cover that a bit later on. If I go back on my project, the other one I want to bring your attention to is the baseline. So at any moment in your project, you could create a baseline. So the only thing you need is to set a description. So maybe at the beginning of your project, at the midterm of your project, or at when any deliverable are met, you enter your description and you set this as a baseline and you save. And this will create, as I said, baseline record, which is more so a picture of your project as a specific time. So we'll keep some key information for you to understand what happened at that specific time, because the project is always live. We will cover the insert task template a bit later on. So these 3 are very important for you to know and very useful UI to be used in the course of your project.